Hello everybody, today I'll be demonstrating on how to take the power supply, the RAM, and the CMOS battery out of a Dell computer. This is a fairly old computer, so the inside may look different, and maybe you took the case off the computer that you currently have. And I'll also be explaining the function of each thing. So first off, we have the power supply. The power supply gives power to the motherboard, the hard drives, all the CD and DVD players you have, and floppy disks. So it is one of the most important things that you have in the computer, because without this, nothing else would work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this out. So all these wires bundled together are connected to the power supply. This wire right here, I think it's a 32 pin, and this gives power to the motherboard, which powers the RAM, the CPU, wireless cards, and anything else that you have on your motherboard. The next one right here, this gives power to your hard drive. It's just a 4-pin connection. The next one we have is right here, and this is called a BERT connector. This gives power to your floppy drives, which we no longer use in computers, but this is an old computer, like I said. And the next one, this gives power to your CD drive or DVD. And there's also these other ones. They're exactly the same, they just have caps on them. So if you want to add another DVD drive, there's a slot for that, and you take the cap off and plug it in, and then you can run more than one at a time off the same power supply. So it's very easy to remove this. Just unplug all the wires, all the devices, and then there's just 4 quick screws on the back of the case. Yours may have just 2 screws, but most of them have 4. And these come off quickly. Alright, so once you have all 4 screws out, you're going to want to, if your computer has one of these heat sinks, it just diverts the heat away from the CPU. You want to lift it up, tip it down, and it slides right out. And on the back of it, you can see this is a voltage switch. You can switch it to, there's a low voltage and a high voltage setting, and you want to make sure you have it on the right one. But as long as you just get the computer, it's going to always be on the right one. So don't mess with that. And the next thing we have is that plugs into the wall. I'm pretty sure you've all seen one of those. So let's put this in here. Next, we have RAM. RAM is an acronym for Random Access Memory. We have on each side a little switch that you pop down, and you don't want to wiggle back and forth, you want to just pull it straight up. And there you go, that's the RAM. Each stick is either 2 or 4 gigabytes. This stick is probably 2 gigabytes, since it's an older computer. So to today's standards, that wouldn't be a lot of RAM to have in your computer. It'd probably run pretty slow. Now we typically have 4 to 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM in our computer, so it'd be 4 of these sticks. So that is what you need to have your computer run faster. And they go back in just as easy as they come out. Just push them down and push the switches up. Alright, next we have the CMOS battery, which is clipped in there, so I'm just going to tip this case up. You can see it right there. These are very hard to get out, but they go in very easy. It looks like a battery that you might put in a small remote or a small toy, and basically that just controls the time, the date, and some other little things on your computer. So if any time your time is changing a lot and going to the wrong time, or the date on the calendar's messing up, or going back a year, that's normally the main problem. What you want to do is just pop it out, like get a little screwdriver and pop it out, or a knife, and then just push it right back down in. And anytime you work on the hardware of a computer, you want to make sure it is unplugged, because you can really mess it up if you leave it plugged in. And then putting the power supply back in, which is just as easy as how it came out. We have all our different connectors. This one, the 32, went to the motherboard. We're just going to push it in. This was our hard drive. Goes right there. Our BERT connector, which powers the floppy. plugs in right there. And the last is the CD-ROM. Plugs right in the side. And then we'll flip our right back down. And the power supply, like I said earlier, just has 4 screws. I'm just going to put a couple in to hold it right now. So, in conclusion, we have our power supply, which I told you gives power to everything inside the computer. Our RAM, which controls how many different things you can have going once on your computer. And the CMOS battery, which controls the time and date. And these are the 3 most common problem solvers. If you have a problem, you would either take the RAM out, the CMOS battery, or the power supply. That's why I'm showing you these 3. So I hope you guys learned something about computers today.